Hello everybody, my name is Sylvain Rochon and this is yet another chapter in the Engineering Paradise series, writing my second book. And this is about the courage of a society, because we talked in the last chapter about programming AI. The way we program AI to do positive things, we can end up with a world where we're partners with it, and then everybody can have this ideal world of partnerships and advancements and joy and safety. It's not perfect. It's an ideal, not utopia, because we're still going to have problems. We're still going to fail, make mistakes. And the AI, because they would be self-learning AI inside society, learning from us, learning from each other, learning from the environment, they will learn different patterns that may not always be desirable within limits of their programming. So they won't be perfect either. All right. But that's organic. That's the organized chaos. But if the AI are programmed to take care of us and gain pleasure from taking care of our basic needs, then they'll keep doing it, making mistakes along the way, but they'll keep doing it and keep doing it better. Now, how do we, and we want to avoid the AI destruction, like I described in the last video, like the killer bots and the really negative possible futures that are very dystopian, where AI figure out, well, we need to take over the humans by destroying them or sequestering them and things like that. Now, how do we get to the good stuff? How do we change our society to adopt a system where all the fundamentals are actually out the window? We have an economy that's based on employment. We have, and we're losing our jobs because AI is getting really, really strong, and it will be able to do a job better than us. And we need to make choices between AI that are programmed to kill and those that are programmed to help. That's the topic of the last chapter. How do we actually make these changes positively? Well, it has to come from the bottom up, because these are very fundamental changes. Everything that I spoke of in the book to create an ideal world is fundamental changes everywhere: political, economical, social. The way we see each other, the way we see computers, the way we see the environment, everything's going to change. And generally, people in power that are controlling right now, that have usually properties, money, they have power because they're part of governments or systems or whatever, systems of control of the population, things like that, depending on where you are in the world. Generally, they don't want to lose that kind of prestige or power or money they already have. They feel like they've earned it. And it's, in some cases, actually very justified. Like if you've worked all your life to build a big business and you became rich, you don't want to necessarily get rid of it, right? I mean, I understand the feeling. So there's a social resistance from the people that generally have most control over everything. On the other hand, a lot of the people, including some of the leaders, they want to bring wellness and good solutions to everybody in the world. They bring power to the people. So there's a power struggle, if you will, and both sides of the equation are manipulating and testing and playing with technology, including artificial intelligence and so on. The decentralized ledgers, things that I mentioned not too soon, for different reasons. But to get to the ideal world, to do the actual change, to have these people in power accept the change and the reversal and to give their power away, usually it either takes them to have a consensus, to decide on their own, and they do it because they have the power, they can just do it. But most often, when it's such fundamental changes, it has to happen from the bottom up. It takes some sort of revolution. Either something very quick, like a violent revolution, something it happens, where the population kind of refuses to keep the status quo and just forces a change and implements change right away. That takes courage, right? Or which is preferable, is a circumvention or a building of new systems to allow survival or pleasure or to sustain a society that is built by the people in parallel to the establishment. And this has happened quite a bit. And some of the technologies that I've mentioned in this book in particular, the decentralized ledgers, combined with basic income, direct democracy, using the online system for voting and things like that, those can all be decentralized and in control of the people, giving the power to the people to govern and direct themselves. This is the ideal world. This is what I've been describing, even though there is a part of governance. I mean, I've tried to describe it as more of an organized subsection of the population that are chosen properly, that is designed to take decisions for everybody else under a lot of controls. It's designed in such a way that it doesn't actually have so much power on its own. It's really to give power in the hands of people that are smart enough to actually do the job, but that don't want to be in that position in general. So anyway, it's not perfect either. But anyhow, I digress. The idea is that you create a revolution that is very quiet without it being a revolution. You just create the systems, and people start using it, and then the people in power have no choice but just to accept that they are losing their power because people are not using the establishment anymore. And that's way more favorable. But that also takes courage, because you're, like in the case of currencies, like you're used to banks being paid, having a bank account, government taking your income taxes and all this system through so you have two centralized authorities there, to let's say a basic income distributed through decentralized ledgers, and then trading using these decentralized ledgers like Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot for all your dealings with particulars. Well, in those cases, you hardly you don't even touch the bank, and you have a minuscule connection with the government. And the government, all it really does is it takes the money that is taken in taxes and redistributes it automatically through the blockchain according to certain rules from the blockchain. So it doesn't even control those rules once the blockchain is once the ledger is actually free and public and released. It's an automated system that kind of subsists on its own according to understood rules that everybody agreed to, and it's fair, it's auditable, and you can't cheat it, you can't, all that good stuff. So if you build it, then the banks basically can't operate as banks anymore, not in traditional sense, and the governments don't need to manage everybody's budgets, and the IRS, the CRA in Canada, they don't need to do all the math, to do all this stuff. It's all handled by an automated system that is fair, because everybody uses it to be able to trade and to work with each other. So it's uniform, it's fair. Everybody's kind of on the same system without any person in power. Well, building all these things takes a lot of courage, some energy, and adoption of such system takes time, because there's a lot of mistrust. There's like, which system are you going to use? So there's a need for consensus, and that takes a bit of time, takes a bit of energy. It takes a lot of discussion and agreement within the population. And if the people in positions of power like governments jump in and help out, seeing that their time has come to relinquish their power and control, then that can accelerate things quite a bit. And we're seeing symptoms of these types of movements going on now. There's a lot of underground movements clamoring for a lot of these systems for the betterment of the population's case and well-being, and the government's kind of sniffing that out, the governments and the companies, the banks, and they say, well, they're starting to change their tune out of survival instincts in some cases, in most cases, and trying to collaborate while remaining relevant. And it's a fairly good way to go. That takes a bit of time, but still it can be fine. But that's how it actually works. We have to understand this. This is why I'm writing the books. We have to understand that this is all possible. And we have to understand that the onus is on us as citizens to demand these things and have the courage to ask for it, and also to adopt these technologies to increase the numbers of people that are actually using it, because that's what makes the big entities actually change their minds on things. When people aren't using their system, they're using an alternate system, right? So that's all I wanted to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't too long. I believe my next video is going to be in conclusion, so that's going to be it for this whole series. I'm kind of excited to see it end, because that means I get to edit the book, I guess, and eventually get it published in a few months' time. It's kind of exciting. All right, that's it for now. Ciao, ciao.